Hello, I'm Amy Blaylock. Welcome to City Hall this week. 7 members of the Durham Police Department are being disciplined for keeping parts of firearms that were supposed to have been destroyed. Chief Jose Lopez Sr. announced the results of an internal investigation into the matter during a news conference on April 25th.
It was brought to my attention by employees within the Durham Police Department that some of my staff were dismantling firearms pursuant to a court order for destruction and then retaining some of the parts for the firearms for both professional and personal use.
The dismantling of the guns in question happened over a 2-day period in January and February of 2013.
Prior to a recent statutory change, unclaimed firearms that were no longer useful or necessary as evidence were typically destroyed as ordered by a judge. Our agency, accompanied by the Sheriff's Office, would then transport the weapons to a facility where they were dismantled and destroyed. Apparently, some employees were incorrectly presuming that since the weapons were to be destroyed anyway, and that the court orders have allowed for departmental use of weapons and weapon parts in the past, that they could retain some of the parts for repair or replacement of parts on their personal and/or departmental issued firearms.
Chief Lopez says there was never an entire firearm that was kept by any of the employees, and there is no evidence that any gun or guns parts were sold. Once the situation was discovered, all gun parts that had been removed were quickly returned.
While the officers had a genuine belief that their actions were appropriate, that belief was mistaken, and I expect better judgment from my officers, especially those in supervisory positions.
As a result of the department's internal investigation, 6 officers and 1 civilian employee have been disciplined for internal policy violations.
All involved are otherwise excellent veteran officers and staff with no history of significant disciplinary issues. I expect this lack of judgment to be isolated.
The city is continuing to make sure that changes to the passenger vehicle for hire ordinance are being made clear to business owners and customers alike.
A passenger vehicle for hire is basically a vehicle that transports people back and forth for a fee, and the ordinance actually regulates passenger vehicles for hire that transport 15 people or less. The purpose of the ordinance is to ensure that passenger vehicles for hire are operating safely and to promote the welfare and health of the citizens of Durham and visitors.
The ordinance was amended in December of 2012 so that it now covers shuttles, limousines, and paratransit vehicles. In other words, any vehicle that transports passengers for a fee. The changes were made to the ordinance to ensure that anyone who rides in these vehicles is protected by standard regulations.
The current overall requirements are that all passenger vehicles for hire are inspected at least once a year. Operators or owners have to complete an application, and all drivers have to complete an application and pass the requirements.
In order to make sure that business owners are aware of the changes and know what the requirements are, city staff is taking the following steps.
We have notified the business owners that were identified and the current ones so that they can help get the word out 3 times on 3 separate occasions. We have held several meetings with the current owners and operators as well as the prospective owners and operators.
The city also wants customers of these businesses to know what their rights are as well.
They have a right not to be taking a route that's longer than necessary. The driver should not be smoking or using their cell phone while they're transporting them. They deserve to be treated with respect and consideration.
If you have any questions or concerns about a passenger vehicle for hire business operating within the city, contact the number on the bottom of your screen. If you live near Little Lick Creek, you may have noticed field crews walking throughout your neighborhood. The crews wearing safety vests and carrying IDs are working on the Little Lick Creek Watershed Improvement Project. The watershed includes areas of eastern Durham between Highway 70 and Falls Lake. Field crews are assessing stream conditions and evaluating existing stormwater control measures in order to clean up and revitalize the watershed. Once the field work is complete, a public information session will be held on May 29th from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Durham County East Regional Library. The city will present its results as well as gather public comments. After that feedback is incorporated into the assessment, the city will begin evaluating and prioritizing potential improvement projects. Thanks to a new web-based mapping tool, detailed information about your neighborhood is now right at your fingertips. The Durham Neighborhood Compass features more than 40 measurements of neighborhood well-being and services that are provided by the city and county. It's designed to determine areas of need and opportunity in neighborhoods. The gathering of facts that used to take weeks, multiple emails, and many phone calls can now be completed in a matter of minutes. To get a first-hand look at this valuable new tool, go to compass.durhamnc.gov. The next time you head to downtown Durham, you'll want to allow a little more time to take in all the public art that's now on display. Find out how when City Hall this week continues.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back. One of the most important quality of life issues impacting Durham's neighborhoods is the city's Parks and Recreation program. That's why we wanted to share what many of you had to say about this valuable city service in this What Durham is Saying segment. Overall, satisfaction with parks and recreation facilities and programs in the 2013 Resident Satisfaction Survey is 64%. Important feedback for the city on a service that impacts nearly every resident in one way or another.
Well, we offer a wide range of programs from tots to mature adults. We have a variety of programs, athletics. We offer anywhere from majorette drill team to soccer, volleyball, tennis tournaments, tennis lessons for the whole family. We have aquatic programs. We have 2 indoor pools and 3 outdoor pools, and we offer swimming lessons, aqua aerobics, lifeguard training. We even just had a aquatic school where we train young people who know how to swim. We train them, and if they're certified at the end of that week, then we hire them as lifeguards. So we do everything from A through Z. We also have mature adult programs for ages 55 and over. Senior Games is going on right now, and anyone that competes and qualifies will go on to the state competition, and then they can go on to the national competition.
The highest levels of satisfaction with parks and recreation services were cultural programming at 68% and greenways and trails at 60%. City playgrounds ranked 3rd at 59%.
Well, with our cultural programming, we're expanding all the time because we have 2 heritage parks. West Point on the Eno Park, we've really, the staff have done a great job in bringing back butter making, beekeeping, goats, utilizing goats, herbal resilience, quite a few, and they are really popular because now people want to go back and see how things were done in the past, and they want to have that experience with their children. So that has really expanded and has really been successful out there. And with Leaf Farm coming back online, we're planning to have a grand opening this fall. We are partnering with quite a few nonprofits about helping and working with hurt animals in the natural areas, and seeds, and quite a few other programs. So this is a big resurgence in those kind of interests by the community. With our playgrounds, over 2 years ago, DPR took over the maintenance of the playgrounds. We do 3 inspections every year, and that's part of our performance measures. And we have brought all of our playgrounds, except for 2 that are a little bit more complicated, over 95% meet the national standards of safety surfacing, and that was our goal, and we've been maintaining that now for over 2 years.
Among the city services that residents say should receive the most emphasis over the next 2 years, parks and recreation facilities and programs ranked 5th at 22%. The specific services that residents say should receive the most attention are the same ones they're the most satisfied with, proof that everyone simply wants improvements in these significant areas to continue. City playgrounds ranked 3rd among the areas that should receive the most attention, cultural programming ranked 2nd, and greenways and trails ranked 1st.
With our Trails in Our Town initiative, partnering with the Community Trail Watch volunteers, the Adopt a Park Trail program, always working with the community, that helps us to move forward. And they're doing so many programs and teaching etiquette and information on how to use the trails and be safe, and various other educational programs on maintenance of their bikes.
It's important to note that residents were generally split regarding their willingness to pay slightly higher taxes to support parks, trails, and future recreational opportunities. 38% of the residents surveyed were very willing or willing to pay slightly higher taxes. 29% were not sure, and 31% were not willing. In the next What Durham is Saying segment, we'll take a look at street maintenance results from the 2013 Resident Satisfaction Survey and why this ranks among the most important city services to all Durham residents. A public art show that's been more than a year in the making is finally a reality. The Bull City Sculpture Show is on display now through October throughout downtown Durham.
The Bull City Sculpture Show is a 6-month-long outdoor, large-scale public sculpture exhibition.
The show is being presented by Liberty Art Sculpture Studio and Foundry, a Durham-based nonprofit arts organization.
Liberty Arts decided to create the show because we as artists felt like it was a good fit for us for the city. We already have a sculpture studio in downtown Durham. We've been around for almost 13 years. We, as artists in the studio, we create large-scale sculpture and enter these exhibitions, and we felt like it was something the city didn't have that we felt like it needed. It's culture. It's like an outdoor gallery in your city. It's free, and you can go and interpret these pieces the way, I mean, there's a certain interpretation from the artists, but you can also see these pieces and interpret them. It creates dialogue, it creates thinking, it creates, creativity, it creates, mulling around the city. It's a walking tour. So you start in one place and you end up on the other side of the city. It's great.
Local architect Phil Freeline served as the independent juror for the project. From 80 submissions, he chose the 12 sculptures that will be on display as part of the show.
The sculptures that will be displayed, they vary from very contemporary to representational and realistic. They vary in scale, so some, the smallest piece I think is about 7 feet to 8 feet tall. The largest piece is 20 feet. So they were selected by an independent juror, so Liberty Arts had no say in it. We sat in the room, but we didn't have any say in the selection process.
Because of the various heights of the sculptures and the fact that they range in weight from 400 to 3,500 pounds, there are a number of challenges associated with installing these large works of art.
The challenges involved in installing these large pieces of artwork really have just been organizing all the artists to be here at a certain time, certain date, and navigating through the city in those times, because everything is taking place in downtown Durham. So we're having a large-scale crane, and the artists with their work and their pickup trucks and their trailers and these things all have to be coordinated. So I think that is probably the biggest challenge.
One of the sculptures will receive the Purchase Award and become part of the permanent Durham cityscape. Another will be selected by the public and stay on loan to the show until next May. To vote for your favorite and find out more about the artists and upcoming Bull City Sculpture Show events, visit bullcitysculptureshow.org. From one of Durham's newest artistic offerings to one of its oldest, find out why this year's Bimbay Cultural Arts Festival is not to be missed when City Hall This Week continues.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC. or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
$7,000 high school students drop out every school day. Let's catch them before it's too late. To start helping students in your community, visit boostup.org.
Welcome back. The 45th Bembe Cultural Arts Festival is just around the corner, so you'll want to mark your calendars now for this exciting Durham tradition. The festival will be held on Saturday, May 17th from noon until 8 p.m. This family-oriented event is a celebration of African and African-American history, culture, art, and traditions. Those who attend will get to enjoy live national and local talent, food, arts and crafts, and an interactive kids area. For more information, visit the website on the bottom of your screen. That does it for City Hall this week. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And you can find us on demand on Durham Television Network's webpage and on YouTube. I'm Amy Blaylock. Thank you for joining us.